Life Audio.
Welcome to But Jesus Drank Wine.
And other stories that kept us stuck. I'm Mead.
And I'm Christy.
In this podcast, we'll explore the stories that kept us, stuck, wanting to drink and not wanting to drink, all at the same time.
Join us as we show you that freedom from alcohol does not have to mean a life sentence of misery and missing out,
but actually means living an authentic life full of peace, joy, and purpose.
Hello, my friend.
Well, hello. Welcome to
But Jesus Drank Wine. We are so excited. So this is going to be episode 130 something, 135, 137, something like that. And after 130 something recordings, Mondays, saying yes to showing up and recording this podcast.
Yes.
We have a really exciting announcement. What's our announcement, Mead?
We have joined the Life Audio Podcast Network. We're partnering with them to reach more women who are stuck in the overdrinking cycle and are looking to find freedom. We are so excited. And just the team over there, they are so amazing. Ever since we signed the contract, it's been so much fun getting to know them, and we're so excited.
We're so excited. Maybe what we should do before we get into our topic for today, we're going to be talking about, has wine become an idol in your life? But before we get there, for our new listeners, maybe what we should do is give a little background on us, what we do, on our community. Because if you're a new listener, you probably have no idea who these two blondes are, where we're talking to you from, or what we're even talking about. So why don't you start? Why don't you give a little intro about you, where you live, what you do, and then I can introduce myself, and then we can talk about our ministry.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm Mead. You might have trouble telling us apart, but that's what we get all the time, that our voices sound very similar. But there are two of us, just to be clear. My name is Mead Holland Shirley, and I live here outside of Atlanta with my family, my husband, my 3 kids, my doggo. And back in 2019, I started this personal growth journey where everything on the outside of my life looked great, but on the inside, I just was struggling. I was just feeling like something was off and something needed to change. And that's where I was realizing that that wine was taking up more and more space in my life than I wanted it to be taking up. And I didn't have a rock bottom. I didn't do a traditional recovery. I found a methodology that helped me change my thinking and change my drinking, and found freedom from alcohol, became a certified freedom from alcohol coach, started my coaching business back at the beginning of 2020. And for the past, how many years is that? 5 years. I have been coaching thousands and thousands of people to freedom from alcohol with this idea that we can change our thinking to change our drinking. And I met this lovely, gorgeous co-host of mine back in 2022. We connected with the same coach's certification. She reached out, we fell in love with each other, instantly hit it off. And we're like, hey, why don't we just record these conversations we're having that we love talking about? This is a different way of looking at where we're stuck with alcohol, the way we do it. And why don't we just start recording these conversations and see what happens? And here we are, however many years later and 130 plus episodes later, just with now a thriving community of 150 women, a leadership team, women who have found freedom from alcohol and are just walking alongside other women now in our online community. It's such a sweet space. It's been just, something that I never saw coming. I say all the time, I didn't have this on my bingo card for my life, and it just keeps getting better. The Lord just keeps saying, okay, this is what we're going to do now. And I keep saying, okay. And here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good. So I am Christy Osborne. I am originally from Los Angeles, California. That's where I grew up. But about 16 or 17, I can't keep track anymore. Years ago, I moved with my husband, Chris, to London and in the United Kingdom. And now, as of a year ago, we're out in Sussex. So we're enjoying the British countryside, which is so beautiful in the spring and hopefully here early summer. I have 2 kiddos. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, I'm just like flashing back to like you say that with such joy now. And I just remember when you were like getting ready to move out there and you were like, "Eh,"
Yeah.
and look
Yeah.
at you now.
I will always love London. London will always have my heart.
Sure.
It's my favorite city in the world, but it's so nice to be out here and fresh air and nature and all the things. I have two teenagers. I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. That is completely bananas to me, but they're both teenagers now. And yeah, similar to
I see.
Mead, I found freedom from alcohol in 2020 and then found the same certification program and have been able to also coach women to freedom from alcohol. I also got to write a book last year. It came out in September
Yeah.
with Waterbrook, which is the Christian imprint for Penguin Random House, which is just like only God, only God, only God. And that is called Love Life Sober. It's a 40-day alcohol fast. And the other really exciting thing that we get to do in this community that we've built is coach women through that fast a couple times a year, 2 or 3 times a year. We're so excited for that one to be coming up in September, that next fast. And yes, and we have this beautiful podcast. We have this beautiful, beautiful podcast. And if you want to know more about our individual stories, we've recorded our
Yeah.
alcohol freedom stories. They're actually episodes 1 and 2 here. And then we also recorded our faith stories because what we are
Mhm.
doing different than any sort of sobriety space out there is we truly believe that healing and heart transformation only comes when we put Jesus at the center of it. And so we love the guys, we love the dudes, but we are a women only ministry and community
Mhm.
putting Jesus at the center of freedom from alcohol in a way that is grace filled, compassion led, and doesn't use any sort of label, stigma, counting days. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to be. So we're excited to be here and welcome to all our newbies. What did I miss? Did I miss anything?
Girl, you covered it all. Yeah, I'm just so excited and just so honored that we get to enter into a new community of listeners who, if they are in that space like I was back in, it really started when I in 2018. I was starting to feel this. I want to drink alcohol and I don't want to drink alcohol all at the same time. And that launched the trying to cut back and trying to moderate and do the cleanses and the 30-day here and all of this. And I really thought I only had one option, which was to wait for my rock bottom, be forced to go to rehab, go into the traditional recovery space, and try every single day for the rest of my life not to drink. And that sounded miserable to me. And
You just made
I mean,
miserable an extra 3 syllables. And I don't know how you did it, but it worked.
well, I like to draw all things out, Christy, including just singular words. You know how I do. And so so it really was by the grace of God, found this methodology that in the secular space is very specific and that we now were able to take and bring Jesus into the conversation with, because ultimately, like you said, the heart transformation, the only thing that can change our hearts is the Lord. And if we're having conversations about freedom from alcohol without including the creator of our hearts, of our souls,
Yeah.
and having those open conversations, then we're just really looking at behavior change. We're looking at behavior modification. And there are plenty of, secular ways to white knuckle willpower, this and that. But yeah, I'm so honored that this is where we are. Like, look at what we've been able to step into over these last 5 years. It's crazy
It's so crazy. You are going to hear us talk about our community all the time on this podcast. And so
because we're obsessed. We
because
love
we're
it.
obsessed, it's our favorite place in the whole wide internet to hang out and maybe the world. And so let's just give a really quick 30,000-foot view of our community for the newbies. So we, as Mead said, have a beautiful community of women only. We meet in a platform called Circle, which is private off of all social media, so you don't have to deal with that. We host regular connection calls for women that just want to hang out and need that community. We have prayer calls. We have calls now that are for women that are already alcohol free, because one of the things that we just kept hearing
Hmm.
over and over is, I'm already alcohol free. I have no desire to drink, but I am desperate for a community of women, like-minded women. So we're like, let's add a call. And so we just keep saying yes to what these beautiful members are asking us to do in there. We also have just the honor and privilege of hosting some really
Mm,
cool people for master classes. We try to do those monthly. Those are all recorded. So we have the most recent one, which is so great, is with Mead's pastor on sobriety and marriage, and that's a beautiful listen.
yeah.
And we
Mm,
have a team going through the Bible recap. So if you're doing the Bible in one year, or even if you want to start,
yeah.
we don't believe you're ever behind in anything.
Yeah.
That's going on. And so there's just so many beautiful people and connections. So we'll put a link to that in the show notes. You'll see that it is a subscription. And one of the things that we want to make really, really clear is that if there is anything coming up for you as far as finances and you cannot commit
Yeah.
because of that, please just let us know, because we never ever want that to be an issue ever. It's only 27 a month, but if that is something that you feel like you
Yeah.
need help with, please just let us
Mhm.
know, because that is not our intention to make it unaffordable. So please let us know. We're happy to talk to you.
Yeah. We're excited to get to know you and hopefully join in the conversation with you. That was the whole impetus behind kind of creating the community. Is it's fun. I love that Christy and I get to
She's bored of me, you guys. She's already
do
bored.
do this. Like, I love chatting with you, Christy, but what I really love is that we've expanded the circle to include all of the beautiful women. I'm like thinking of so many of their faces right now. And it's just, yeah, it's just a beautiful space.
Yeah.
So
So without further ado, we'll go ahead and play our episode of Is Has Wine Become an Idol? And I think I do mention this at the end of the episode, but I'm also going to pop in the show notes that we created a special booklet journal for you with some of these questions that we're going to talk about on this episode. So this gives you the opportunity to look at the questions, read the corresponding scripture that we've pulled out, and really journal through these questions. We're big on journaling in our community, as it's so helpful for seeing all of our mind swirls on in black and white and ink. And so take a look and find that in the show notes as well. And we are so excited to be here. And here is our episode for today. So I think maybe one of the best ways to start is, let's define it. What's an idol?
so biblical idolatry is when anything, even a good thing, becomes an ultimate thing. I would describe it in terms of like when we're looking to anything other than God to bring us peace, comfort, identity, escape, worth, validation, you name it. And like back in like biblical times, idols were mentioned a lot in the Old Testament and they looked like statues and things. But these days, kind of like Dr. Kurt Thompson, MD, has said before, they look more like those everyday addictions, glasses of wine, habits, patterns, coping mechanisms. I think that is something that I for sure did not have language for then. But I think is a very free. I mean, the reason why we're doing this is because it's a freeing conversation when you think about it in these terms.
Yeah, 100%. And I love, and I think this was a Pastor Davidism, is where is your time, your
Yep.
treasure, and your thoughts? And if I just look at my life when I was a drinker, how much time did alcohol take up? Well, a lot, right? One of the exercises that's in the Love Life Sober 40-Day Fast book is figure out how much time that you're actually spending on alcohol. And
Yep.
that might seem off the top of your head, oh, it's an hour or two a night. But if you actually factor in the amount of time that you're thinking about it, you're planning for it, you're recovering from it, it ended up being some wild and crazy number, right? Like 40% of my time was consumed by alcohol because I was either nursing a hangover or thinking about when my next drink was, et cetera, right? And then
Yep.
money, I mean, where are you putting, like, I mean, oh my gosh, the amount of money that I would spend on alcohol, whether it would be like wine, house wine, but that good wine on a night out, cocktails, all of the things. I mean, so much money. But also, it's reminded me of that episode that we did, the 10 things that we no longer have to spend money on now that we're no
Yeah.
longer drinking. Think about all the money that you're saving
Mm,
when we're not drinking, right? It's all of the things that we've talked about. It's like the extra Uber rides, it's the babysitters, it's the cheeky cigarettes, it's all of those things that end up adding up. And then thoughts. I mean, this is the benefit. This is the benefit that we hear, I think, more than any other benefit, is
yep.
that when I stopped drinking, I had all this headspace. And so I think that's one of the ways to ask, like, is wine an idol? Is it taking up time, money, and space in your head? If it is, and again, like, this is not something like we're coming at you wagging our finger in your face. This is a very gentle question that you get to approach with grace and curiosity to figure this out for yourself, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's just it. Like, I didn't realize that it was the mental real estate that was occupied by the not only just like the thinking about prepping for, recovering from, all of that about wine, but it was the internal battle that I was having of I want to be drinking wine and I don't want to be drinking wine. And that occupied headspace. So like my talent, my time and my treasure for sure would have looked like doing that time and treasure audit. I mean, amazing. I love that as a tool. It's very revealing and also realizing the headspace part of it, the mental real estate that's occupied by that, because I didn't look like I wasn't a traditional quote unquote, air quotes if you're not watching this, but problem drinker. My drinking looked like everybody else's. It was more in this, social realm or whatever. It looked a lot less than a lot of people's too. But where I was feeling conflict and what ultimately drove me to exploring my relationship to alcohol is this internal conflict that I had that was occupying space and time, and it was all rooted in the wine and how it was getting in the way of what I really wanted in life. I just couldn't see how to do something about it.
Yeah, that's so good, babe. That is so, so good. And I think that's another question. If the ultimate kind of umbrella question that we're asking is, has
Yeah.
wine or alcohol become an idol in your life? I think another way to kind of dive deep into that is asking yourself that why you're drinking in the first place. Because if it's
Yeah.
for joy, if it's for peace, if it's
Yeah.
for rest, like all the things that we know, and I'm saying we know because we've been working on this
Doing this for
for
so
a
long.
very long time, but it's also I have to remind myself all the time because I try to get those things, love, joy, peace, rest, all of the things that I can only
Hmm.
find in Jesus now in other ways, like Netflix or scrolling or
Yes.
whatever it is. And so, but this is another way to ask that question is like, why are you turning to alcohol? And if it's for a reason that can only be found in Jesus, like that is something to maybe like think about a little bit, right? Because also, and one of the beautiful things that we have been able to witness both in walking alongside, I think, each other, but also the gals in our community is that there is such a difference when your LJP, your love, joy, peace is coming
Hmm.
from Jesus and when it's coming from external things that are idols or counterfeits, right?
Yeah. When we're looking to it, I mean, there may be a temporary sensation or looking like a love, a joy, a peace situation. But I know that when I was stuck in the drinking cycle, it was just that artificial temporary fix that was not the same as the lasting love, joy, and peace that is rooted in Christ. As my desire for alcohol decreased, my desire for the Lord increased. And that increase in desire for the Lord and being in the word and spending time with him, like I realized like this is actually the thing that is restorative. All the things that I was looking for in wine actually only come in the absence of the wine and when I take up with Jesus. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know because I also didn't know what those stories were that I was telling myself. I didn't have the idea that like I was telling myself stories about why I needed wine. But that was one of the things that I think wine, if you're asking this question, how do I know if wine's become an idol to me or alcohol, whatever your alcoholic beverage of choice is? I know something that was really telling for me was thinking about never drinking it again. Like I was so aware of the conflict. I was so aware of like I need to explore my relationship to alcohol. I want to do something about this. But the thought of I'm never going to be able to drink it again,
Yeah.
it was almost like the biggest clue to me that it was occupying way too much space in my life. The thought that I could never let it go
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah. That's so, so good, babe. I so relate to that. And I also just want to say that if that's you today and you're listening and you can't imagine a life without alcohol,
Yeah.
that's okay and that we have been there. We
Yeah.
have been there and we get to talk to and hang out with women in the community every single day who feel the same. And I think that that is just a beautiful example of the transformative power of Jesus and putting him in the rightful place, right? Because I think, well, I speak for myself. I got to that point of thinking at this point in time, I know like we say all the time, oh, you don't ever have to say uh, something really wild and crazy would have to happen for me to
Yeah.
have a drink of alcohol, unless it was an accident. By the way, that happened. Forgot to tell you this. That happened this
Just in
last
Spain.
weekend in Spain. Yeah, I ordered a what looked
Oh,
like a really exciting version of my pink lady because it was cranberry juice and lime and like a bunch of fruity stuff. And they brought it and like one sip and like it literally burned my esophagus. This has happened one other time where I ordered a virgin, whatever, and it was like burned. It's so funny. Anyways, I'm tangenting now. But something wild and crazy would have to happen for me to drink again.
hmm.
But I am able to say that now because of the way that life looks and feels now without it. And so we say all the time on here, just be open and curious. If you are listening to
Yeah.
this and thinking to yourself, there's no way that I'm never ever drinking again. That's okay. You can totally have that thought. Be open to the fact that it might change. Be open to the fact that it might just change because life might get so much better, especially if you're walking with Jesus in this beautiful, close way, that that might just change for you.
Totally. Just with the I can't imagine never drinking again. I can't imagine that. Like, if that is what you're saying, like a little easy, shift or reframe could be I'm open to the possibility that I never have to drink again or that I won't want to drink again because I keep going. I say this all the time. I know it's super redundant, but it bears repeating over and over again. I knew very clear that I did not want to quit drinking. I wanted to no longer desire alcohol because as long as I tried to quit, so to speak, quote unquote, a million times and it never stuck because as long as I had a desire for wine, as long as I had all these stories that told me that I need it for relaxation, I need it for sleep, I need it for social anxiety, it's my reward, it's my treat, it's all of these things. As long as I had those stories, that meant I had a desire for it. And so just not doing that thing was not going to feel like freedom. It was not going to feel like peace. It was not going to feel like joy. It was going to feel like awful and desperate. And so yeah, being able to like think about I'm willing to see if it's possible that what these gals are saying is really true. Like I'm all we're asking is if you're willing to see if that's possible, because that's that turn to curiosity that allows you to kind of collect that real data, allows you to bring your smart lady brain back on board, being down in that toddler brain and then bringing that smart lady brain back on board and go, oh, okay, like now I'm going to get curious about this. What am I telling myself about wine and its importance in my life? Because
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was doing that. And that was what was controlling my behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so, so good, babe. And I think one of the things that is important to just note is that I don't think it is possible. I think that we have seen in the Bible over and over again that if you have flagged something as an idol, like that's not something that God wants us to play with in moderation, right? I just think back to like we're just doing the Bible recap and we've been with the Israelites a long time now and over the message is destroy any sort of idol or remnant of idol or anything that's been associated with an idol because God knew so well that being around those people or that thing or that other god would slowly start to creep in and destroy them. And so it's one of these things too, right? It's holding up this holy grail of moderation, right? One day I'll just be able to have one or two drinks. But if you have flagged this as something that might be idle or even idle adjacent, like there's a very good possibility that moderation isn't going to work for you. And I don't say that as a like doom and gloom situation. It's just it's a roundabout encouraging way of when you let that go,
Mm,
when you let that go, there's so much freedom there. There's so much freedom there, right?
totally. Totally. And I think too, I'm remembering how I remember someone in our community said this at one point too. I think someone on leadership team, she asked the question, and I think it was even about something else. It wasn't even about alcohol when she was asking this question, but like, is this thing I'm doing, or is this thing that is occupying my time and treasure? So we can put it in these terms. Is this thing that's occupying my mind? Is this thing that I'm saying, like, I can't imagine not having in my life again? Is this thing bringing me closer to
Mhm.
Jesus,
Mhm.
or is it pushing me further away? And I think that is the language that I wish that I had had
Yeah.
back when I was stuck in the drinking cycle, because that would have really landed with me in a way of, oh, wait, okay, like if I'm not getting closer to Jesus, that means I'm going more the way of the world. And our foundational scripture that we talk about that was so pivotal for both of us in our journey is, Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be renewed by be transformed by the renewal of your mind. That is, that would have been so helpful for me to see that all of these behaviors that come from me drinking, or all the time that I'm spending with my head occupied by wine, is that getting me closer to God, or is it separating me? And I can look
Yeah.
back and say, like, yeah, for sure that would have been a big clue. And there, like there are things now where I'm like, okay, like if I skip my quiet time in the morning to go work out, like which thing is actually going to be the thing that's getting me closer to God and more foundationally more set up for the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, all of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the quiet time with the Lord. Now, not saying exercise is bad, but if I'm trading something else instead of that, and wine can and very well be that thing, then it's a question. It's that turn to curiosity that can help in seeing
Yeah.
if something else is possible.
Yeah. I love that so much. And I think that, as you said, if that question had been posed to me, it would have been a really easy answer. And I think now, 5+ years on, I think that being close to Jesus is now no longer a have to, but a get to,
Yes.
but also a love to, right? And I think that
Mhm.
moving away from alcohol allowed me to get closer to Jesus, but then in a way realize not only how important that is and how transformative that is has been in my life, but to actually enjoy it. And so I think
Yeah.
that if you would have asked me that question, whatever it is, 5+ years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, no, I know it's not bringing me closer to him. But it almost would have felt like and then a layer of shame, right? We always talk about as Christian women, the double layer of shame that you have as a drinker, one being just a drinker and one being as a Christian drinker. And I think that question would have landed with a lot of shame for me. And so for anybody that's listening to this and feels that, I
Yeah.
just want to say we see you, we hear, we've been there, we totally get that. But there is so much like beauty on the other side of just exploring what a closer relationship looks like and feels like. And so there's just so much good on the other side.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I know wine's an idol. I know it's getting in the way. I know. Then I just want you to know that we get it and we've been there. And we know that these conversations are hard and they were really, really hard for us when we were first looking at them, when we like started exploring our relationships with alcohol.
And acknowledging the discomfort of that is super
Yeah.
important, because it's when we have been regularly drinking, we don't have a large capacity for being able to tolerate discomfort. That's part of why we hit that easy button. Like I call it, like the wine was my easy button. It was that Staples commercial with the red button. It's the thing that, like, oh, your day is not going the way you want. Oh, hit the easy button. That'll make it better. But ultimately, I realized that it wasn't making things better, maybe for a temporary 20 minutes or so for that quick fix. But when we have a diminished tolerance for discomfort, we're used to doing those things like automatically grabbing for the wine. So
Yeah.
there's, I want you to hear the hope in noticing the discomfort, acknowledging the discomfort that's there when you hear that, or the shame, like naming right out, like there is shame, like for sure. I was the girl that was like, shame? Not me. I don't even know. It's for other people, which meant I had so much shame because I was even denial about having shame. We all have shame for all things, all kinds of things. But as a Christian woman, it was the double shame and it just made it doubly hard not to do the thing that I didn't want to do, which is
Yeah.
drink. So if you're in that place and you're feeling that discomfort, like acknowledge it, name the discomfort, and then get curious about some of the things we've talked about here. Like, okay, so maybe it is taking up more space. I think it's Proverbs 27:19. I won't quote it because I'll probably butcher it, but your life reflects what's in your heart. What's your heart?
Yeah.
And I think about for me, my life did reflect what was important to me at the time, which was wine and popularity and status and the achievement and being viewed as a good Christian and image management, whatever. And it didn't reflect that Jesus was a part of that because he wasn't maybe a huge part of that then. I thought I had to get all my stuff together first and then I could be ready for Jesus. But that's not true. That's not true at all. And maybe for that woman that does feel that, I just want to again kind of acknowledge like you have that like if that discomfort's there, pay attention to that and create that distance between the automatic, I'm going to hit the easy button and response. Like today can be different. You don't have to hit that easy button in response to that.
Imagine stepping into a vibrant, welcoming community where faith, friendship, and freedom from alcohol come together. That's exactly what you'll find inside the But Jesus Drank Wine community.
Each week, our members gather for connection calls, a time to share honestly, grow spiritually, and support one another in a warm, grace-filled space.
And for women who are already free from alcohol, we offer a monthly connection call just for you, a space to stay grounded in your faith, share your victories, and continue growing in freedom.
With a loving leadership team, a dedicated prayer request board, and connection opportunities across every time zone, you never have to walk this journey alone.
We also offer masterclasses with expert guests, optional book and Bible studies, and so much more to help you grow in your faith and strengthen your sobriety.
For those ready to go even deeper, our small group coaching space, The Missing Piece, offers weekly recorded coaching calls and personalized support for women committed to breaking free from alcohol.
Whether you're sober curious or years alcohol free, if you love Jesus or want to fall in love with him again, you'll feel seen, supported, and strengthened here.
Ready to join the sisterhood? Head over to butjesusdrankwine.com/community or click the link in the show notes to learn more. We can't wait to meet you.
Yeah. And I just want to stop for a minute and celebrate you, like listener who is listening right now, wherever you're listening, that you actually pushed play on an episode that literally is titled Is Wine an Idol in My Life? Because that is such
Mm-hmm.
an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to like think back to those days of like, it would have taken a lot for me in the early,
Yeah.
like in the very, very stuck days to even hit play on this. So my sweet friend, you are in the right place. You are so, so in the right place. Another question that I think supports the umbrella question of is wine an idol? And this is one that I love. I love the response to because I started asking it to some of the gals that we get to talk to. And at first I was like, gosh, is this like, how is this going to land with people when I ask this question? But I have just loved the responses so much. So I always say,
Oh my gosh, give me the question.
if is is the Holy Spirit nudging you to put this down? Like, is this
Yes.
something? And I always get these responses of Chrissy, he isn't nudging me. He's like literally shaking me on either side of my shoulder. He's grabbed me. This is
Yeah.
not something where he's been like, "Man, maybe you should think about like drinking less." This is like, no, honey, it is time. I have more
Put
for you.
it down.
I have
Yeah.
more for you. I have better for you. And so
Mm.
if that question lands with you like it's landed with so many gals I've asked this, like, recently, just pay attention to that, get curious about that, right?
Yeah, totally. Because it may be loud and it may be maybe it's not quite a nudge, it's like an obvious like
Yeah.
shaking. But our God, he's so loving and gentle and kind. He's doing it for our good and for our
Yeah.
best. And that's where you can find the comfort in being able to pay attention to that and respond to that nudging. Like, okay, I hear you. Now what, God? Like, just put your hand in his and let him guide you to the next little. We always leave our episodes with tiny Tinas, like tiny new actions that you can take from what you've listened, what you've learned, what you've heard today. And so maybe it's as simple as, okay, God, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to take your hand and let you lead me to the next little action I can take from here related to exploring my relationship to alcohol so that I can reorder the things that have become like out of order in my life and wine being taking up more space than it should.
Yeah. I just remember someone, I don't remember who said it, so if it was you and you're listening, please let us know, but someone said, "Whatever is misordered is disordered." And I thought that was so, so
Oh,
good.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
is
that's
this something
good.
and that's also one of the I remember reading that. I can't remember the author that wrote about it in her book, but how using any sort of label didn't work for her, but when she thought about it, like a disordered relationship with alcohol really resonated with her. And so
Um,
that might be another way to ask this question, right? Is your relationship with alcohol disordered?
is it in the wrong? See, I don't know. Yeah. Is it in the wrong order? But then for me, I'm like, then that brings up, I think me in the drinking cycle 6, 7 years ago would have been like, great, let's add it to the list, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, that's like what we're saying. Like when you notice that and you if you're paying attention to like what those things are you're saying to yourself in response to what you're hearing or what you're doing, like that's good. That is a start in the right direction because our
Yeah.
thoughts and our beliefs are influencing everything that we do or don't do. Like
Yeah.
period, end of story. And so if you don't even know what those thoughts or beliefs or stories are that you're telling yourself about all the things, I mean, that's the work that we get to do. And we've been so honored to be able to walk so many people through is that work of paying attention to like what are the thoughts and beliefs, the stories that are driving my behavior, my actions, and how do I reorient
Yeah.
whatever is disordered, so to speak, or out of order in my life.
So good. That's so good. Well, we normally end every episode with a Tiny Tina. And this week we have a special Tiny Tina because we've actually created a little
Hmm.
we've created a journaling booklet for you, Is Wine an Idol? And we've laid out some of these questions with a lot of Bible verses alongside them to help you kind of dive deeper and further into these questions. And so we will put that journaling booklet made just for you from us in the show notes, Is Wine an Idol? And you can journal further on that. And then if you want to speak with us further about this question and the questions that we've asked, you have an open invitation as always to join us in the But Jesus Drank Wine community where we have these beautiful conversations every week. So, yeah, anything else to add to that, babe?
Yeah, I just second you celebrating the listener who is listening, who did click play on an episode like this, because I remember how scared I was to start the journey or ask the questions or like bring into the light that I was the things that I was Googling or searching or trying to find answers for. And so yeah, if you've listened to this episode, you hit play on this and you're starting this, we celebrate you and way to go. And just be open and curious to the possibility that freedom from alcohol is possible for you as well because if it was possible for me, it's possible for anybody. Let me just tell you, okay?
Yes, amen to
Possible
that.
for
If
anybody.
we can do it, you can do it.
Oh my gosh, like if he could rescue a wretch like me, He can do it for anybody.
Thanks for listening, my friend. We're so excited. We just are excited about all our new listeners, and we are just so happy to get to continue to do this work and get to know you more and get to pray for you and know your stories. So don't be a stranger. Come hang out with us, and we will see you next Monday. Before we go, if you're craving real connection and want to talk more about what we've shared today, come join us in the BJDW community. It's where these conversations continue, and we'd love to welcome you in.
You can find all of our podcast episodes at butjesusdrankwine.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at butjesusdrankwine.
Take a screenshot of this episode and share it with a friend or two.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you love what we're doing, we'd be so grateful if you left a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Your reviews help more women who feel stuck and alone in the overdrinking cycle find the hope and encouragement they've been praying for.
Finally, we'd love to shout out the incredible team at Life Audio for their partnership with us at the But Jesus Drank Wine podcast. We invite you, dear listener, to visit lifeaudio.com, where you will find dozens of other faith-centered podcasts in the Life Audio network. Shows about prayer, Bible study, Christian parenting, and more.
Thanks, friend. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you next week.